Log cabin Republicans called it extreme, naive, dangerous, politically stupid. Why did you do that ad? And what do you say to people that you're subtracting, not adding to potential supporters?
What they hit him on was injecting men into women's competitions, which he did with his beauty pageants, and then he's expressed support for allowing men to use women's locker rooms and bathrooms. So those are the two issues. I think those are totally legitimate. I don't believe in demeaning anybody, and we have not done that since I've been governor. These things get shared or whatever, and look, I'm responsible for it, don't get me wrong, but the idea that like I was sitting there like, oh, share this video, no, it's a rapid response thing. But on those issues about injecting men into women's competitions, that's wrong. We've taken a strong stand with respect to women's athletics, protecting women's sports. We've also protected women's bathrooms and locker rooms. And at the end of the day, we can't go down this road where there's 37 different genders. There's not true, there's 2. And I do think we have a difference of opinion on that.
Okay, so he's not interested in demeaning anyone except, millions of people, which he just did repeatedly during that. For his own personal political gain, he demeaned these people, which is, there's lots of bad ways to do it, but that seems like one of the most callous since it's, just for your own gain. So there he misgenders every trans athlete or whatever. He effectively has just denied that trans people exist. If we just pause for a second, I understand that we're so deep into this never-ending, multifaceted war against the trans community. But I don't even feel like a couple years ago that was what they were doing. I feel like that is such a radical escalation to not just be like, we're gonna demonize you in a particular context, like bathrooms. We're gonna make you out to be predators, and we're gonna try to deny your rights or whatever. But we're fundamentally gonna deny that you exist. We're gonna imply that instead you're insane. Millions upon millions of people are fundamentally insane. Oh, and they're still sexual predators, and that is his defense against claims that he's being exclusionary. To once again double down on the same attacks. He didn't distance himself from that ad. He reiterated all the points of that ad. He is still trying to make that central to his appeal. He thinks the way to take down Trump is to pretend that Trump is pro-trans, and that is so utterly disgusting.
Yeah, I think the whole, like the bathroom issues and the sporting issues, I think it's all kind of a red herring. It's like a way to direct the conversation towards an actual issue that people can, like a tangible thing that people can get around and rally around in a sense. And in that way, they don't really have to talk about all the dehumanizing that they are actually doing. But that said, they are still doing that, right? They're still dehumanizing people. They're still denying somebody's worldview and the way that they exist within the world and the way that they see the world and interact with it. And at the end of the day, people just want to live, right? They just want to live in a way that makes sense for them. And sometimes that evolves over time and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes this is just how people are and there's nothing wrong with that. The only issue that they have with it is that they have built a very, very staunch society, a staunch set of rules and guidelines for a society. And so anything outside of that is wrong and is unwelcome, right? But the thing is, over time, the only thing that can really happen is that community and those guidelines are going to become more staunch and more restrictive and smaller and smaller and smaller. You will always find somebody outside of the norm that you're going to want to exclude. It's never going to stop. It seems like a lot of work, honestly. It seems like a lot of effort to be that hateful and that exclusionary and that discriminatory, but that's the path that they've chosen.
Yeah. Well, you're right. It is a lot of work. It takes up so much of your time, attention, passion, and that is not lost on the people who are trying to inspire their base to waste all of their time, attention, and passion on that. Because a person who is spending all of their time trying to, utterly annihilate the trans community or ban every book that they've never read is probably not thinking that much about their wages or their retirement or whether Social Security will exist for them or whether they'll ever own a home or whether their kids will be able to go to college or whether a minor medical emergency will utterly bankrupt them and their family, because they're so focused on the bathrooms. And I know that we're not gonna get good follow-up questions or whatever, but I would have loved a follow-up question from Bret Baier to DeSantis about that. Like, oh, that's a good point about the bathrooms. It's a big distinguishing factor between you and Trump, except that it's not. Trump feels the exact same way now. So exactly how are we going to make sure that only the right sort of people go into the bathrooms? Are we going to be paying people a salary to stand at the door and check everyone's genitals? Or is that just like a thing that we're going to have random people doing? Like if you're in a bathroom and you suspect someone, then you check their genitals against their will. If we do hire people, how much are we going to pay? Is it going to be like a salaried position, or is it gig work or something? Exactly how are we going to find out exactly what genitals everyone has before they're allowed to pee in public? Utter perverts, every single one of them, genocidal perverts.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.